Okay, hi Rachel. How are you? Just wanted to send this video actually. Usually we like to go over proposals in a live viewing type of format, either through in person or screen sharing. But obviously you have the RFP due today, and we definitely wanted to at least provide the fixed price for the custom website redesign for Martin Insurance and Financial Group. Wanted to get this in your hands, so I thought that this might be helpful in reviewing the actual proposal itself and just walking through it. So this is what you're seeing right in front of you here is the custom website redesign proposal. Also to keep in mind that we did talk about search engine optimization, so there is a marketing foundation to a certain extent included here. There's a lot more that we can do and further optimize on an ongoing basis with marketing, and certainly we would be happy to talk about that further. But building this website and what's proposed here will get you going in the right direction as far as the platform and the foundation for marketing. So going to page 2, as per the request of the RFP, we have some just general vendor information about who we are when we were established, our company executives, and then below obviously is my name for the project contact. So any questions about this, or if there's anything that we need to modify on the proposal, just let me know. Next, we have the proposed scope of work. So this is essentially the navigation based on things like competitive analysis, as much as we did initially, and also based on the RFP and our previous conversations. Overall, this pretty much details out exactly what we can build for the fixed price. So obviously anything can be changed. We do custom website design for the reason to change and be able to modify and have that flexibility. So what you see here is just my initial recommendations based on our conversation and the RFP. But obviously we can certainly talk about it and go over any modifications or changes to the details or the overall pages and navigation. So essentially, we'll be discussing how the new scope of work and the website navigation will accomplish going over all the different coverages provided by Martin Insurance with business, homeowners, auto, health, flood, umbrella, personal, and Medicare supplements. So the home page is obviously your landing page and the hub of the information. It's essentially going to give you some quick links to get to the right pages for your users. So we talk about that a little bit, and some of the features discussed in the RFP, like the going paperless form, is detailed out here, as well as the integration for video. So these 3 items here, I just wanted to make sure to show you that they were included. So the go paperless would be a form with the video integration. So any copy-ready video that's provided to us can be implemented. Just a note in here, since we obviously haven't talked about storyboarding or direction or the actual video process, as well as editing and writing and all of that, we've determined in order to give you a fixed price, that this would be something that would need to be proposed in a separate project and a separate cost. But any videos that you have ready or any videos you can provide to us, we can certainly integrate. The next step is the Ask the Experts form, which this is assuming that the form is which you can submit questions to the experts. This is not the live chat. There are many, many solutions out there for live chat integration, and they're at a very low cost. Typically, they're just plugins, but we have to determine which solution you would like to have, and we can certainly recommend some for you. But we can implement that if it's determined that that's something you'd like instead of a form. So moving on, what I did was pulled a lot of the information from your current site. So obviously this content and the focus of the content can change, but I wanted to give you some details. I also think that it was smart to include in the previous website, and I recommend the same, to apply to the have the forms for each of the different types of coverage. So for auto insurance, you would have a quick submission form for the quotes, and that would, you'll see, is reflective of all the different coverages. So same thing, really just the content that's reflecting it is from the existing site. The content can obviously change. One thing from the RFP is to have a testimonials page. It's actually recommended and more powerful to have the testimonials reflected on the pages that are specific to that coverage and specific to that person that's actually saying that testimonial. So you'll see on each of the coverage pages that the testimonials will be in like a quote bubble or a nice graphic to show the different 1 or 2 different testimonials, and those can always be changed out to keep it dynamic. So we have the auto insurance page, home insurance, business commercial insurance, and then health insurance, all pretty much are reflective of the same type of format and layout within this outline. The next we have the resources page. So this is going to be primarily for links and content, a little bit of a helpful guide for your users and your clients. So subpages specifically for each of the coverages. If there are going to be many, many pages, we just have to talk about it. Since it wasn't outlined, I'm just assuming one page per coverage to include some quick links and some helpful hints and FAQs perhaps. So that's that section for the resources or the customer portal, in which was called in the RFP. Next, we have the news page, which is essentially your WordPress blog. It was assumed for this proposal that we're going to be taking the WordPress blog. It's going to be staying where it currently is hosted. It seems to be a server-side WordPress blog from what I can see so far. So it is hosted somewhere, and my assumption is for this proposal that we're not actually transferring that or any of the posts or the previous content from the blog. We could also start new and we could price that out separately, but if you have the blog already created and it's already there with some content, my recommendation is to keep it where it currently is. So that's assuming this in the new section. And then we have the About Us section. So this is another main navigation, and it's going to be content that focuses on the story and the history of Martin Insurance. Executive bios will have the executive team, maybe a picture, maybe not. That's up to you guys. Along with the location directions, the carriers, the partners, and then your Martin Gives Back, which is your community outreach type of page. Also included in here is the careers page. So this will show you the current openings, the benefits as to why working, at Martin. Submit your resume, which will show the email link to do so, and then the Contact Us Today, which is essentially going to be a call to action button that'll go to the Contact Us page. And then lastly is the Contact Us page. So this will have a nice Google Map integration of the location, as well as a general contact form, which essentially someone would fill out, submit it, and it would go to an email address. So there are the suggested fields. These can definitely be customized and discussed a little bit further, but this is about the length of the form you want. You don't want to ask too many questions. Then also underneath the Contact Us, we have the employee directory. So this essentially just is showing from each of the types of coverages or the business units or divisions, however you want to explain it, personal lines, commercial lines, health, business development, admin, accounting, and IT, all have their name, title, email, and extension if that's something you'd still like. Just keep in mind, obviously, these all can be modified, and we can change this proposal to reflect the layout and navigation if this is not correct. If you no longer want the employee directory, don't feel like you have to be stuck to it. This is certainly something that is a work in progress right now for this initial RFP response. And so lastly, we have the privacy policy page. This tends to be important with insurance. There's certain things that you want to make clear that an example would be if someone submitted a form, it's not binding coverage or anything like that. So we want to make sure that that's laid out there. And we may want to even talk about some content on the certain pages with the forms. So that way when people submit something, they don't think they're covered or whatever the case may be. So we'll include that in there. Next part of the proposal is some additional notes and assumptions. I did this primarily because when we price things out at a fixed price, we try and be as detailed as we can to make sure that everything's been covered. So if any of these assumptions are incorrect or if these notes are not correct or need to be modified, please let me know. I'd be happy to talk it over with you more. So this just goes through a few things. The first thing I did want to mention is that it looks like you have a secure site, and which that means essentially with the HTTPS that you see here, that there is an SSL certificate somewhere within the actual hosting files, and what that means essentially is that it's a secure site. You actually don't accept payment or anything right now on the site, so I'm not sure necessarily if you needed the SSL certificate, if you want to carry it over. That's what we're assuming here. If you have to renew your certificate or we have to get a new one, then there is an associated cost with that, but this is assuming that you have one and we can reuse it. So this just goes through a little bit more details on the blog and the videos. At the purpose of this proposal, right before I'd finished this proposal up, so now I understand you are using AMS 360, I believe, for the actual client payment center. So you can actually just disregard this if you're not interested in us building a client payment center. And then this also talks about our ongoing marketing. So when we build a website, we build it with a specific foundation for search engine optimization, but there's a lot that can be done in addition to driving leads and truly driving and creating a plan to drive traffic to your site. So we build it to be optimal, but there's a lot more that we would recommend doing if your main goal of this site is to be a true lead generator for you. There's certainly things that we could do in a more advanced type of tactics and more advanced marketing efforts to drive that traffic to your site. So that's something I can be happy to talk about further. And again, this is just touching on a lot of the RFP points. So another one was website updates for the in-house IT team. We build our websites on the ASP.NET programming language platform. So there is some freeware there. You can certainly edit it in Dreamweaver through an FTP access. We can help as far as give instructions or do training too. We also provide unlimited updates type of maintenance plans, and then as well as a step above that, which is more proactive types of assurance plans to be proactive, contacting you, reviewing the site, and so on. So there's a lot of different options as to how you're going to be making updates, and we have those options available, and we can talk about them further. So this is just a little bit of notes here for if your IT team wants to make the updates. And then we also have some references here as it was requested. So the next part of this proposal is the actual scope of work and the details laid out. So what this layout includes is anything that you see in these green fields here that's a 1 or more, that means that it's included in the price. If you see a 0 here, it just means that number 1, it didn't apply, or 2, it wasn't mentioned in the RFP. But we'd still like to show you a lot of what other things that we offer, even if they're not necessarily applying right now. It might spark an idea or a need that you have. So we want to just show you what else we offer within our services here. So we start off every website project and any kind of graphical project with a design meeting, and this is really just to go over the scope of work, go over the details, the layouts, the goals of the site, as well as the graphics and the color scheme and all the fun things to talk about to get a really good idea, so that way we can move forward with designing out the actual mock-ups. So once the website design is done, the meeting, we can then go into the actual mock-up development. So here's where you'll see the next step is the mock-up development. We have that we'll do 2 different concepts, so 2 totally different mock-ups and looks and feel with some color options as well, so that's why you'll see a 1 there. And then also it was mentioned in the RFP that you'd like to have a responsive design website, which I'd be happy to talk about those different options, but responsive makes it as best as you can be mobile compatible and tablet compatible. So with that and being responsive, your actual layout of the homepage and the subpages would essentially change a little bit. So we do mock-ups to show you what it's going to look like on the smartphone layout and also the tablet layout. With each of these mock-ups, you get a couple rounds of revisions. So there's some feedback back and forth, or we do what we call live tweaking sessions, where we actually would be on the phone with you talking about the different mock-ups and make those modifications in live time, real time, to save everybody a little bit of time. So that's also an option. So once the revisions are done and once we have all of the mock-ups approved, we then go into the website development. So this is where we're bringing all those mock-ups to life. Upon approval of all the different mock-ups, we can start programming, start adding content, and this is where you'll also see a test link of the actual site being developed. So you can see which pages still need content, and it'll be an actual live progression of the site, so you can see everything up to date. So below here, it's just a reiteration of the pages that I just mentioned. Being that we have a marketing focus, I'm also recommending to write a lot of the content from scratch. We do a whole interview process, information gathering process, and then we can actually write the initial drafts of content. So you'll see the pages that we recommend to be writing and then the pages that we'll be using for the content from you. So we also have some stock photography. We can certainly use your images and actually recommend it, but a lot of our clients don't have high resolution web friendly images, so this is where stock photography is typically utilized. So the next step is then the email forms as well. And then you can see here, so these are all the different forms we have, so totaling 6 forms. So we have the paperless form, the auto form, home, business, health, and contact us are the forms we'll be filling out. And then we get to the additional inclusions. So a lot of these inclusions are what we were talking about from the marketing perspective. So each of the pages will have their own unique metadata, which includes your title, description, and keyword tags. We also set up, if you don't have it set up already, Google Analytics and implement the code. In addition, we also set up Google Webmaster Tools. So this allows you to really track the health of the site. If there's any broken links, Webmaster Tools is where it will show you that, in the future. We also create an XML and HTML sitemap. The XML sitemap is submitted through Webmaster Tools. So that's something that will tell the search engines that you have a refreshed site, new content, and hopefully it'll allow them to scan it sooner. Favicon creation, so we'll take part of the logo and apply it as a favicon. And this is also where we talk about cross-browser compatibility and quality assurance. So on all of the major browsers and the latest production versions of each of those browsers, we'll make sure that it's compatible and working as it should. So Internet Explorer, Firefox, Safari, Chrome, all the major browsers will be working and functioning the same across the board. And then also, we're talking about responsive design, so this definitely applies to be mobile and tablet device compatible. In addition, you will be assigned a project manager, which has a marketing background. So not only will the project manager be working with you for the different steps and processes and milestones and so on, but they'll also have the marketing initiative to make sure that everything we build on the site and all the content that's written, it has a marketing focus. In the shaded area, this just shows you some items that we would need to get started on the website. So that's just a little helpful guide. And then we have a lot of add-on items. You'll see most of them are zeroed out here just because they weren't something that was part of the RFP, but it's also something that we hadn't discussed. So if you see anything here that sparks your interest or is something you have questions on or have a need for, just let us know and we can definitely add it to the revised proposal. So you'll see there's a lot of zeros here. One thing that is included here is the responsive design. So you can read about it here, but it's essentially making your site as mobile compatible as possible right now and also tablet compatible. So it fits the following resolutions that are listed out here, and we can talk about that in more detail if you'd like. The other additional add-on item is a basic jQuery header. So this is just adding a little bit more of a dynamic component to your site. It adds some movement, which is nice. It can show very quickly to a user who gets to your home page what types of services you offer and the types of coverage you offer. So it's a great way to get that them information very quickly. Being that we have a marketing focus, I'm also recommending to develop an on-page linking strategy. So not only is content important, but it's how you link it from your homepage to your subpages is also important. So our marketing team will help you develop the right strategy from a linking perspective for the search engine. So that's included here as well. We also have some more advanced meta tag writing. So this is more of a search engine optimization perspective and recommendation. This is something that can be removed or done at a later date, but this is something ideally that I recommend right away since SEO was something in the RFP. And then lastly is the 301 redirect. So the 301 redirect is taking any type of what I like to call SEO juice. So anything that has been built up in the past, the popularity of the links, the content that you've written so far on the existing Martin website, we don't want to lose that. We also don't want to lose any visitors that have maybe bookmarked your page and they're going to go to that link and then it'll be a broken link if you don't do this redirect. So we're taking all of the previous pages, which are 52 total, and then putting them to the new pages. So that way there's no loss in SEO or there's no user issues or user errors when if they were to come across a 404 not found error. So this is stopping that from happening. So that is pretty much the entire proposal. I think that it does reflect everything that's based in the RFP, but if there's anything that I missed or anything that needs to be further defined for this initial stage, let me know. We have a timeline that is always helpful to show you basically how long or how soon after we can get started, and then also when we can anticipate getting done the project and actually launching the website. So that's also included in this proposal here. So you can see here, if, for example, you approved it by the 24th of October, it would be ready to launch by middle of December. And then lastly is the cost. So here is the cost breakdown. Total cost is a one-time fixed cost of $12,950. In addition, as per the request of the RFP, you had also asked about website maintenance. So this $120 here for a one-time per month type of plan gives you one time per month of unlimited updates, and this $120 per month does include hosting as well for the website. So not only will we be hosting the site, but also giving you the ability to just send us updates no matter the number. So it could be 50 one month and 2 the next month, and it'll be unlimited. And we just ask that it's in a batched approach so that way it's effective for everybody. We also have what we call our website assurance plans, which gives you this range here. So depending upon the features that you'd like to see included in the assurance plan, we can give you that fixed price as well. But for now, it's just a range to show you what we have to offer, as well as what the typical range is for the site that we're recommending and proposing today. So I hope that covers everything that was based on the RFP. Obviously, we are here to discuss any additional functionality or any additional questions that you have once you've gotten the opportunity to go through all the different responses. We'd be happy to set up another time just to go through any other questions, or if there are things that need to be added or removed, obviously we can modify it at that point. So thank you very much for your time and for watching this video, and I look forward to hearing from you very soon. Thank you.